In the hillside town of Jerome, Arizona, stands the United Verde Hospital. For decades, it was where injured miners were treated, families found care, and the town's future was protected. But as the mine slowed and people began to leave, this hospital's role quietly came to an end. So how did a place that once kept an entire community alive finally close its doors? Today, we look at when it closed and what that moment meant for Jerome. The world before. When the United Verde Hospital opened in the late 1920s, Jerome was thriving. Copper mining had turned this hillside into a booming company town, full of workers and young families. The hospital served miners injured underground, children born into the community, and residents who depended on nearby care in a dangerous line of work. Modern for its time, it stood as reassurance that no matter how risky life became, help was close. For many, this building wasn't just medical care. It was stability, but what felt permanent was slowly becoming fragile. The decline. By the 1940s, changes were impossible to ignore. Mining production slowed. Jobs disappeared. Families moved away. Jerome's population declined, and with it, the need for a large hospital. Nearby towns began offering newer facilities, easier access, and lower operating costs. The hospital remained open, but its role was fading, just as the town around it was changing. And then, quietly, without ceremony, a decision was made. The hospital would close, not because of one disaster, but because the world that once needed it was disappearing. The questions that remained: when the hospital shut down, there was no public farewell, no final announcement that marked the end of an era. Over time, stories filled that silence. Some believed it became too costly to operate. Others felt Jerome itself had been left behind. As the building sat unused, memories lingered of accidents, recoveries, and lives that passed through these halls. Even decades later, longtime residents still speak about what this place once meant. But those stories were only part of the truth. The reveal. The real reason the United Verde Hospital closed was not a mystery or a scandal. It was the result of steady decline. As mining slowed, fewer workers remained. As families left, demand for care dropped. And as nearby towns modernized, maintaining this hospital no longer made sense. For doctors, nurses, and staff, the closure marked more than the end of a job. It marked the loss of a role that once held the community together. When the doors closed in 1950, there was no ceremony, just the understanding that Jerome was no longer the town it had been. The present day, last 20 to 30 SEC. Today, the building still stands above Jerome, changed, repurposed, but not forgotten. Its halls are quiet now, but they remain a reminder of a time when this town depended on what happened inside them. The silence here isn't empty. It's filled with memory. Places like this remind us that communities don't disappear all at once. They fade, unless we choose to remember them. 2-3-second silence. If you want more forgotten stories like this, places that shaped their towns before quietly slipping into history, consider subscribing so you don't miss the next one.